across now to Bangkok to speak with Philip Sherwell, Asia correspondent for the Sunday Times. Hello, Philip. The military doubling down on their claims of election fraud with additional charges now on Aung San Suu Kyi. Tell us more about that.
Yes, well, Aung San Suu Kyi was detained in those pre-dawn raids when the military staged the coup more than 2 weeks ago now. Under the pretext, they've always claimed that it was electoral fraud when the NLD, her party, won a landslide victory in November. Now, she was initially charged with illicitly holding possession of walkie-talkies. This was very much felt to be a holding charge. She's now got a second series of charges, which are to do with allegations of breaking the National Disaster Act. That probably relates to the fact that she was campaigning in November during a pandemic. But all this is building up to the military possibly bringing much more serious charges. When the military leader, Min Aung Hlaing, addressed the ruling council yesterday, he raised issues about alleged foreign interference in these elections. Now, this is indicating that the military is going to claim that Aung San Suu Kyi was getting foreign backing to swindle the Burmese voters. And if she's charged with those sorts of offences, it could be much more serious. It also fits into this agenda of the military to say, we're not a junta, this was not a coup, we are merely enforcing the Burmese constitution. It was the NLD and her party that's in breach of the constitution for trying to maintain power after election fraud was continued. So it's all part of this overall picture of the military digging in and trying to justify their seizure of control. They've said that they're going to hold elections. They haven't said when. They've said they'll hand over power. But obviously, this is all sort of indicating that the NLD under Aung San Suu Kyi will not be running in whichever elections the military decides to hold in future.
All right, so a clear determination to continue with the military coup and the subsequent doubling down on measures against Aung San Suu Kyi and her government. And then we're seeing protest numbers not quite what they were last week, or towards the end of the first week of the coup. Is there a little bit of momentum going out of the movement, Philip, or is it too early to say?
I think the movement is somewhat refocusing. There were always two elements to this movement, to the opposition to this military seizure of power. One of them was these massive street protests to indicate the sheer volume of discontent, the people power element. And those really sort of crescendoed over the last weekend and last Friday, which was a public holiday. People were free to take to the streets. But there's a second element, and that is the civil disobedience movement. That is encouraging and backing civil servants and government employees and employees in key departments who are striking, saying we won't work for this military government. Now, that's actually kind of maybe more important to the opposition. They really want to try and cripple the functionings of this military government. And so you've got these protests outside banks, you had people blocking railroads, you've got power plants where workers have gone on strike. The military is very worried about this, and they have said that they will take action, unspecified action, against civil servants who are on strike. But they've also been rolling out new laws that allow for sentences of up to 20 years if you're deemed to be obstructing the defence forces in their legitimate action. So the standoff now, the battle now is very much moving. It will continue to be protests on the streets, but it's also very much moving into attempts by the opposition to make life for the government as difficult as possible. And clearly the military are in turn determined to crack down. There have been 426 arrests. Aung San Suu Kyi is just one of them. I expect that number to climb dramatically.
OK, Philip Sherwell, thank you for that.
Thank you.